I wanted to bring up because things are kind of changing, things are developing. You're starting to see, you mentioned the Ontario League postponing some things. What are you guys kind of doing to get ahead of things and stay on top of things?
Yeah, I mean,
cases?
what, keep your fingers crossed? I mean, I suppose that's about all you can do, right? Like, our guys have been vaccinated, and the CDC hasn't changed their definition of fully vaccinated. We will adhere to whatever policies our administration and, from President Rogers to Bob Moosebrugger to Ben Beatty, whatever they tell us we're supposed to do or what's in our best interest, we'll do. But right now, it's just continue the way we've been doing it. Thankfully, our guys have all taken the initiative to get vaccinated, and they're doing the best job they can. And then all we can do is talk about trying to be smart about knowing who you're hanging around and being real cautious about putting yourself in a situation where you could potentially, contract it. So other than that, we're just, we read the news, and read stuff online and watch TV, and you see cancellations here, cancellations there in our sport, in college athletics, in other sports. So all we can do is just try to do the best we can every day and make sure that we're putting ourselves in a position where we're able to play on our end.
We talked about it briefly late last week. You talked about kind of starting things up with second semester. Obviously, kids are getting new schedules, they're getting new, just day-to-day lives here. How do you adjust to that? How do you kind of make things work? And then does that practice schedule change because of second semester at all?
Well, this week, the last time we talked about our schedule being different because we played a Thursday-Friday game, and then our guys left to go home for break, and then we came back and we practiced on a Saturday, and then a Sunday, and then a Monday, and then we left for Milwaukee. So this week we're back to what we consider to be our normal everyday work week. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday practice, play Friday, Saturday. We're fortunate this week that our guys are not in school, so they've got a little bit more free time, so we can do some more. Our window to do some things is a little bit bigger, and it allows us to, whether it's go over some things or watch some video or teach or bring guys back at a different time or allow them to sleep in. Those kinds of things are what we're doing this week, because we know next week with school starting we will get back into what our routine was the first semester.
I know there was a bit of an injury bug going around before the holidays, and now you guys have had some time to rest up. Any updates on guys like Zach, TJ, maybe Chris?
Yeah, TJ played. He came back from his injury before the holiday and was healthy enough to play. Unfortunately, he blocked a shot in our second game, and then he had to leave the game that game. But then when we got back here and we restarted, he's been practicing, so he's ready to go. Zach Rose is 100% back to healthy, ready to go, and Evan Doherty is now as close as he's been since before he fractured his foot. So he's been skating in a red jersey, which is a no-contact jersey, but Evan's been doing everything that everybody else has been doing. We're not sure he'll be 100% ready to go for this weekend, but the plan is that he continue to practice in red and then next week wear a colored jersey and be ready to go.
With a conference-only schedule to close the year out, some of these guys you've already seen this year in series, whether it be at home or on the road. Do things kind of change within game plans because you've seen them before, or what do you guys kind of take from tape there in those first go-arounds?
Well, there's definitely familiarity with the opponents, because it is. We've got 7 conference series remaining, so we play every team in the league one more time, or 2 more times if you look at this year. 1 more series, 2 more games. So 3 of those series are at Slater Family Arena and 4 are on the road. So we just have to do the best we can each week. And if you look at where we're at, obviously we want to climb as high in the standings as we can and ultimately be at home for that first round of the CCHA playoffs. So, we can only look, we're going to take it, day by day, week by week, and our first challenge is at St. Thomas this weekend. So, but it is going to be, I haven't looked at everybody's schedule, but I don't know if anybody plays non-league games the second half. I don't know that, but I know for us, it's every week is a chance for us to move up the standings, and we know we're playing 7 conference series to finish it off here.
Going back to the Milwaukee series, Providence, Yale. Again, Providence, another ranked team. You guys played them tough, at least for a couple periods there, and then they kind of pulled away. What was your biggest takeaway from the Providence game in particular?
We knew that they were going to be a real good team going in, and we played. Again, we got down early. They scored not, I think it was a minute 30 or 2 minutes into the game, and then they scored not too long after that. We were down 2-0 in the first period, and we were able to chip away and get back to tie it up. And then in the second period, might have been as good a period as we've had all year. We played really well, had a bunch of really good opportunities. We did a lot of things right. And unfortunately, we weren't able to capitalize on those from an offensive perspective. We hit 3 posts. We played really, really well. And they're a team that it's hard to play well against. And so we take away that when we are doing things the way we're capable of and up to our standard, we can play with anybody, and we're as good a team as there is out there. We have to find a way to do that more consistently. And then in the third period started well, and unfortunately they made a play, kind of an odd little play back in our own end, and turned over and then ends up in our net. Now it's 4-2. Then we pull the goalie to try and give ourselves a good chance to get within a goal, and they score an empty net goal. But for the most part, what we take away is we played really well against a real good team, and it was a difficult loss and a frustrating loss, and then we were able to find a way to bounce back the next day against a Yale team that played better their second game than they did their first game. So we buttoned up the non-conference schedule with a 3-3-2 record, and we played all but 2 of those games on the road. And we did a really nice job, we felt like, with our non-conference and playing some real good teams in difficult venues and all that stuff.
I know you talk often about chances and, how do you evaluate them versus, what you guys give the other team. In your mind, what fits that criteria? Is it just getting open shots? Is it executing plays? What, in your mind, equates to a good chance at a goal?
Yeah, so, I mean, the easiest way to put it is if you draw a line from the goal to the dots and then out and across the top of the circle. So it looks kind of like home plate there, or looks like a house depending on which side you're looking at it. Those chances from in that area that are clean chances where the goalie's got to make a legitimate save, those are what we would consider grade A scoring opportunities. A wrist shot from the blue line with no traffic in front where the goalie just sees it and catches it. That we don't consider that to be a scoring opportunity. So it's not just a shot on goal. There's more to it than that. It's a legitimate opportunity to score. So we feel like we've been doing a better job generating those kinds of opportunities of late, and we need to continue to do that because that's something that we've done in the past around here.
Is there an element of discipline then with you guys coaching these players, like, hey, work the puck towards that area, try to get those chances? How much discipline is involved in that?
It's funny you bring up discipline. We've talked about discipline a lot lately, and more of it's discipline in our actions, discipline in not taking that penalty that's going to put us down, the stick penalties and those kind of penalties that are tough to kill off. But discipline in our approach to how we play with the puck is also a piece to it. Not what we call hope plays, not trying to just hope something in there, being disciplined enough to know take what's available, whether it's off the rush or in zone, and discipline. And sometimes the discipline is hitting the net. One of the things we talked about that first game of the Ohio State series, when we had the 3-goal lead, we had some really good opportunities that we didn't capitalize on because we missed the net. So hitting the net is something from an offensive standpoint that you can discipline yourselves into having some more control over that opportunity. So, we've talked about all those things.
You mentioned taking those undisciplined penalties. Do you feel like your team's taking too many of those?
Of late, we've had some penalties that we felt like were undisciplined. We took 3 undisciplined penalties in our last game, which we didn't like at all, and that's just hard. We were killing off a penalty, and we took an undisciplined penalty to go down 5-on-3, and that's so that player goes and sits out for 2 minutes, and so 3 other guys got to come out and kill. And when you kill penalties 5-on-3, one of the things we ask you to do is go block a shot. And the reason TJ Lloyd couldn't finish the game is because we put ourselves in a position where we were 5-on-3, and he had to go block a shot. And now we're down a player in TJ because he blocked a shot and it hit him in a spot where there wasn't a pad and he was hurt. So those are the kinds of things we're talking about. We don't think we're taking too many penalties. We're taking too many undisciplined penalties, and we'd like that there's certain penalties that you don't have any control over. Sometimes if you hit a guy too hard and it's a clean hit, the referee might deem that as a rough or a charge, and there's nothing you can do about that. But it's real easy to see a trip and a hook and a slash. Those are stick penalties, and we think we've got to eliminate those from our game.
Last one for me. You've seen St. Thomas already before, like I mentioned. What's the early scouting report on them this time going around?
We haven't seen them for a long time. They've been off for their break, I believe, started their last time they played, I think, was December 10th, and then they had an exhibition game over the weekend against the University of Minnesota. So they've had a long break, which for them probably felt good. A lot of these kids, it was their first time playing Division I hockey, and so it was probably a lot. So I'm sure they're coming back refreshed and excited to go. They had a 5-2 game with the University of Minnesota, who we all know is a really good team. Our expectation is that they're going to be excited to play us in their building. Game 1 here on Friday night, they got off to a lead. They scored early, and then they had a power play, and so they had some opportunities in that game to advance that from a 1-goal lead, and they were in the game the whole time. So our goal is to focus on the things we can control and be ready to go right off the hop, because we have to believe that everybody we play the second half is looking at the same things we're looking at, and they're looking at the CCHA standings, and they're trying to put themselves in the best position for the playoffs. And St. Thomas is no different than anybody else.
We'll go ahead. Any questions from the Zoom?
Yeah, having seen them before, Coach, you expect an extra chip on St. Thomas's shoulder?
Yeah, I don't know what to expect, honestly, because this is a new year for them, and I don't know if they've played anybody 2 times, so we may be the first opportunity for them. So maybe it'll look different the second time. Obviously, they're going to be at home, so that certainly gives them some more confidence. They won a league game at home against Fair State earlier in the year, so they've got to feel good about that. I would assume that they're going to be excited to play Bowling Green. They're going to be excited to open up the second half, and if that means they have a chip on their shoulder, we have to be prepared for that.
Coach.
Coach, after that Ohio State series, you said they played well, but you couldn't get the result. How important was it to get a win coming out of this Milwaukee road trip?
Yeah, we talked about that. If you look at our results, the last 5 or 6 games, or let's say the last 4 games leading up to that tournament, we didn't have the kind of results that we're obviously all looking for. And for us to come out of that tournament after a difficult loss, the Providence game was very similar to the Ohio State games in how we played and what we did for 2 periods, and then unfortunately we weren't able to finish there in the third. But to bounce back and win a game against Yale was a big deal for us, because there's confidence is a huge piece to all sports, and when you don't get the results you're used to getting or the results you necessarily want to get, it can eat away at you a little bit. So you want to try to do as best you can to win, and when you do win, it certainly makes everybody feel better.
You guys didn't have maybe as long of a break as other teams did, just because you were playing right up until 17th, 16th, and then you guys came back a little early to go to Milwaukee. Do you think that gives you maybe, I don't know if it's an advantage, but do you think that helps you out, maybe just because you didn't have to take a break and have the guys go home and eat a bunch of snacks?
Yeah. I mean, if you have a long break, you think it's too long. If you have a short break, you think it's too short, Jack. I mean, that's just kind of the way coaches' minds work. But the good thing is we tried to communicate that to our guys early. They knew when they could go buy their plane ticket home or when they'd be excused to go home. And for a lot of guys, when they go home, these guys, once they get to college, their routine is something that they're used to and they're comfortable with, and they become creatures of habit, I guess. So when they go home, they may or may not have ice available. They may or may not have a gym that's open. They may or may not have. There's a lot of variables that they can't control, and so our guys, the most important thing for them was to go home and recharge their batteries and see their family and enjoy the holidays and that kind of stuff. And then I think they were excited to come back and be back with their teammates. And it's a fun time, when over the holiday break when you're playing and it's just hockey. There's no school. Everybody enjoys that. So I don't know if we had a disadvantage or an advantage. You know, the fact that our guys didn't get a lot of time off means that it didn't take them a lot of time to get back into quote unquote playing shape and stuff, which was good. And to bounce back right into a tournament there was good for us, because we only had really 3 practices, and then we jumped right back in it, and then we gave them some days off over the holidays or over the New Year and that kind of stuff, and then, like I said, this week has been back to normal. So it doesn't feel like we've missed much, and it doesn't feel like they've missed much. We've been back doing, everything's been pretty normal, so that's been good. So we're hoping it's an advantage going into this weekend, but we'll see.
It's just talking about maybe a little bit of follow-up to that. You guys played all 4 of those non-conference games. You guys played the 2 Ohio State games and then the 2 tournament games. They're all pretty close games. I know that. I mean, the 6-2 was. I think this scoreline was not indicative of how you guys actually played. Is that frustrating that you guys came so close and weren't able to sort of get over the hump in some of those games? I know those 2 Ohio State games, obviously rivalry games. You want to win those. Is that a frustrating thing, or is that something that, okay, we know what we need to do when conference play, when these points count, or when these count for points?
Yeah. Honest answer would be frustrating, yes, absolutely. Players are frustrated, coaches were frustrated, not with each other, but frustrated that, sometimes sports are unfair, and you can play really good and not win. And, in our sport, goaltenders have the potential to steal games, and if the goaltender is the best player on the ice for a certain team, that gives them a really good opportunity to win. And so we played really well, and so you try to take the teachable moments from the games and the teachable opportunities from those games, and we did a lot of really good things, Jack. We really did. You're right. The Providence game, we did a bunch of really good stuff. Ohio State series, a bunch of really good stuff, and so we tried to take from that and give us some things to build on. And then you want so badly, the kids work hard and you want them to have success, and when you play well and don't get the result, it is frustrating. But like we said on Monday when we got back to practice, hey, we had our Monday morning meeting and we closed the books on the first half, and we talked honestly about the first half, and we own our results, we own our statistics, our goals against and our goals for and our power play and penalty kill percentage and our won-loss record. We own that. Now our focus is the second half, and we definitely want to build on how we've been playing and improve on that in the second half.
It's just the last quick thing for me. I mean, I know you guys 5th place going in the second half. Do you think that's where you guys deserve to be right now, or do you think maybe you guys can have the potential to go up higher? Obviously, you want the potential to go up higher, but do you think the first half is a fair representation of where you guys are as a whole, as a team?
Yeah, that's a good question, Jack, and it's difficult to answer. I think probably as much as any team in our league, people had questions, people outside of our program, and even inside of our program, had questions about what was Bowling Green going to be like this year. How were they going to be? Based on, we had 9, we had 10 seniors last year. We lost 9 of them. We lost, 2 juniors who didn't come back after graduating. So we had a bunch of new faces in our program. We have a new assistant coach. So there were definitely some questions, not only with our personnel and that kind of stuff, but we had transfers coming in. And so all in all, I think I don't think we're satisfied where we're at. We felt like this group had the potential to be a really good team. And we felt like it was a team that the goal and hopefully what would happen with all those new pieces would be that we were playing our best hockey at the end of the year. And that's still the goal. We've played everybody in our league with the exception of Michigan Tech, so we know we have some familiarity. We know who's who. Obviously, Mankato's done a really good job, and they put themselves in a position where everybody's going to have to chase them. I think if you look at the standings, 2 through 6 right now is really tight. I think if I'm right, I'm not a math whiz by any stretch, Jack, but if I'm right, I think the difference between 2 and 6 is basically a weekend series. If you sweep a weekend, you get 6 points, right? Am I right? So,
yeah, I'm looking at it now. Yeah.
It's really tight. So everybody's thinking the same. All those teams right there are thinking the exact same thing. If we can get on a run, if we can start playing well, if we can get hot, we can climb the standings, right? Bemidji's in second. If Bemidji's saying if we can get on a run and we can stay hot and keep playing, we can keep second. You know, and the ones toward the bottom are saying we can catch them, and we all play each other, which is the good thing. So you're going to have opportunities to gain on people that are in front of you, or separate yourself on people that are behind you.